What is up, y'all? I'm just trying to make sure that we are actually live. Yes, we sure are. Y'all, if you saw me on Facebook yesterday, which was what day is it? Today is the 29th, so it would have been June 28th. We made a Deco mesh wreath on there using the colors of turquoise and orange. And I have all the same stuff out, so I'm like, you know what? Let's make a different one. Kind of the same concept, but a different sign. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm cutting my ribbon tails. I need 9 of each. 9, 1.5 inch and 9, 2.5 inch times 2. Because I chose 2 different patterns. What is up, y'all? So we're going to be kind of doing the same wreath we did yesterday, but we're doing a different sign. And I'll show you. You can probably see it right now. This is the sign we're using. So this was the wreath from yesterday that I did on Facebook. That replay is available on that platform. But this is the one I did yesterday on Facebook. And like I said, I had all the stuff out. I was like, you know what? Let's make another one using a different sign. So that's exactly what we're going to do. What is up, y'all? Good morning, good morning. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now this is my favorite leopard ribbon that they've ever made. I said that yesterday on that live. But it's a burlap with leopard print on it. So it's really nice and it's not flimsy. It's really nice and thick. Good morning, y'all. Y'all, so basically this is going to have the same concept as the wreath I did yesterday, just our sign's going to be different. We're using the same mesh, the same ribbon, the same work form, same style of work form, everything, y'all. I always like to talk about how once you find your 6, 7, 8, I can't count and talk at the same time. Once you find your pattern of what works for you, it's really versatile. You can use it on any theme, any design. So really, the Jordan 2.0 method has become my go-to method and my everyday one. So the 2.0 is we use we use 10-inch mesh for poofs on the inner ring, and then 30-inch ruffles on the outer ring, and then we add some more 20-inch ruffles on the inner ring. What is up, y'all? Okay, so this is our sign. This turquoise and leopard pumpkin. This is MD 076537. I did get that from shoplightjordan.com. Y'all, shoplightjordan.com is my affiliate with DecoExchange. So anytime I say that, it's going to take you to the DecoExchange website. So don't fret when it takes you to DecoExchange, because that's exactly where it's supposed to take you. Someone says, oh, Gal versus Glue Gun says, love that button up shirt on you. Y'all, I love this shirt. I just got it. It has little cactuses on it. So I'm pairing these up. Someone says it's 72 and sunny with no humidity in Chicago Falls, Ohio. That's always nice when there's no humidity. I live in West Texas, so it's a dry heat. And boy, you can tell when a thunderstorm's going to roll in because it gets humid. I'm like, oh, here we go. Someone said that they used these signs last year and sold so many that I couldn't believe it, that they couldn't believe it. Y'all, this color scheme last year was really, really popular. It was, I think it's because it has like the perfect blend of colors on it. It's not really overpowering. That turquoise and that leopard and orange, they weren't overpowering each other. They worked so well with each other. Y'all know me if you've seen me for a while here, whether it's on our Facebook page or here on the YouTube channel. Y'all know I'm usually a t-shirts kind of person. I am a t-shirt kind of person. But I'm trying to branch out a little bit. So I am using my favorite mesh, which is, y'all, I have a poll here, so, and it's got all my favorite things, because normally I'm sitting here on my phone and I'm ordering stuff, but I always just look up and I'm like, okay, there's my wreath form that I like, there's the mesh that I like, but it's RY830254. So we are going to do our, I need to move those out of the way real quick. Our ruffles. Yo, I've got like extra trims all over the place. It's a situation over here. So I'm cutting out my outer ring ruffles first. These are 30 inches. Someone, Carol says, I use the Jordan 2.0 method the most now and covers the work frame the best. You know what, Carol? I have to agree with that. I might be a little biased because I did start this method. But it definitely offers the most coverage when you're working with your work wreath form. Good morning, y'all. Good morning to those that aren't on the East Coast, because the East Coast is already afternoon. Good afternoon to our viewers on the East Coast. To those on the West Coast, I understand y'all's day is barely starting out. Not that it's barely starting out, but it's still early. Okay, so these ruffles are 30 inches. And you need, really, if you're using the same mesh, you'll use 2 rolls of mesh for this method. You'll have some left over after you cut all your ruffles and do your poofs. So I'm doing these 20 inches. These are my 20-inch ruffles, and these go on the inner ring on top of the 10-inch poofs. And I need one more cut of these, y'all. So this is what you'll normally have. This is what you'll have left over on your rolls after you've cut the ruffles. Okay, so I actually have 3 rolls already like that. But I'm going to use one of them to make my poofs. So I'm going to just stack those up. I have to keep these separated because I don't want to get them confused. Okay, so just pinching that, setting that in, and then we're measuring out 10 inches. If you don't have a cutting mat, you can always measure out like this from this twist tie to, you'll skip one twist tie and go to the next. That's about 10 inches. That's what I've learned. But I always have my cutting mat, so yeah. So if you ever have, and if you don't have your cutting mat with you, and you don't have a tape measure, y'all, from this twist tie to this twist tie is about 10 inches. It's actually, yeah, it's a little bit less than 10 inches, but if you measure it out like that, it's about 10 inches. What I would also do, y'all, if I didn't have a ruler or if I didn't have a cutting mat, take a marker, and because I know a lot of us have these ribbon tail boards, just measure out a line right here where it says 10 inches and just mark it right there, and that way you can set this down and be like, okay, that's 10 inches. You can go larger with your poofs if you want to, but 10 inches to me is a good size for my poofs. Okay, so under normal circumstances, and when I don't have a nice little pile of 10-inch rolls sitting there, you'll use up one entire roll, and you'll still have some left over off of another one. Okay, so this is really what I have left over from that one roll, but I'm not going to use it. I don't need it. Okay, So next we're going to bring in our 30-inch ruffles for our outer ring. Making my little bow tie pasta, and I put it in there horizontally, okay? So when I open up my tie, open it up like that, and I set that in just like that. So we're just going all the way around the outer ring, because that's what I know. I normally do that first. I always do the outer ring first, and then I'll go through, and then I'll do the inner ring. Put my little bow tie pasta in there. Put that away before I cut myself. Okay, just rolling that up. Make my little bow tie, turn it horizontally, open up that twist tie, set it right in. Yo, my fingers are going numb. Okay, just doing my little curls, running it all together. So just like that, and then I make my little bow tie. Do I put the folded side down? Let's see. So it's like that, just the exact same way I just did that, and I put it like that. So I guess that's down. I mean, I don't know. Ruffle up, ruffle down. So I normally just use my body as my table to roll this. So when I do it like that, I just run it up with each other, pinch it together, open that tie, So nothing's really facing me. It's always facing the opposite direction. Okay, so this is the last one we're doing on the outer ring. So just making my curls, running that together, and flipping it horizontally. Okay, so next we're going to come in with our 20-inch ruffles. Okay, so now this is, like I said, my go-to method. Um, the other day I actually timed myself from start to finish of doing this method. I think it was like 15 minutes, and that was with me cutting the mesh as well. So if you're like pressed for time, and I know you want to spend time with your kids for summer vacation, things like that, you want to go outside, you want to go to the park, the pool, but you only have like, let's say, an hour, so you can crank out, I think, like 4 of these within that hour, just the bases. So that way you can come back home and they're already done for you. And that's why I like using a nice neutral colored base like this. Like this mesh right here, this the burlap and cream, because it allows me to use my colored ribbons, my nice bright colored ribbons, and they're not going to get lost in there. Then we're down to the last one. Okay, so that's what we have so far, y'all. That's our base right there. Nice full wreath base. So next we're going to add in our ribbons. And those I already have them cut. These are 13 inches. 13 inches is my go-to length for my ribbon tails. I'm going to fold it in half, pinch it, open that twist tie back up once, twice, and then spread out those ribbon tails. Now that idea of making those bases ahead of time also works well for, like, if you're doing craft shows or if you're doing markets or whatever it might be, and you need to make a lot of wreaths but you don't have a lot of time on a certain day, but you know you can fit in making, let's say, 5 or 6 bases. That's what I would use this method for. grabbing a different roll of ribbon here. Okay, so that's what our inner ring should look like. Let me just zoom out just a little bit, y'all. So you see how I like using that nice neutral base because I'm able to bring in all that pop of color with this turquoise ribbon. Look how bright that turquoise ribbon looks on there. So now we're going on the outer ring. Just doing the same thing, folding it in half, finding my center, pinching it together. Someone asked, have I figured out my design for Crafters Convention yet? Yes, I sure have. I sure have figured out my design for Crafters Convention. What orange ribbon am I using? The orange ribbon is RGE 1176C1. Okay, and I got that at shoplikejordan.com. Let's see. When do you place the pipe cleaners down and around after the ribbons or embellishments? So I don't do anything with the tinsel ties. So these are pre-made work wreath forms. I don't do anything after I'm done with them. I just leave them there. They're just, I don't cut them. I don't trim them. I don't fold them down. Nothing. I just leave them like the way they are. Someone said, I'm not a fan of the animal prints. Can you suggest an alternative? You can definitely do a solid color burlap. You could also do another form of orange color. So our sign is leopard print. It's a leopard print pumpkin, but I mean you can always do a solid colored ribbon, a solid burlap. a solid rust orange, maybe a solid turquoise. Let's see what other. You could even bring in like a cream or an ivory color in as well. I know that working with animal prints isn't everyone's favorite. I do live in West Texas. Actually, I live in Texas. So, I do live in West Texas. But for us, leopard print never went out of style. It's never gone out of style. And I don't think it plans on going out of style anytime soon. Okay, so this is our sign. We're going to add this in. And I need to use my handy dandy hole punch. You can use a mounting square if you have that available. I have that as well, but I'm just using this metal hole punch. Okay. I know y'all, Crafters Convention is in 2 weeks. Super excited. I know Megan and I are really super excited to be there. I think she's figured out her design. I know I figured out my design. So this does have a sawtooth hanger on the back. So I want that, and then I want a big bow here. But I want to show y'all the other. So they, in that whole collection too, they made this sign. It says "Welcome Fall," and it's got the truck with the leopard, and it says "Welcome Fall," and it's got the orange and the turquoise. Y'all, you could actually do that with this as well. It's got that little touch of black and white around the edges. And the welcome fall sign is MD0774. Right, so I completely understand that as well. That animal print just isn't everybody's favorite. For some, it's really hard to sell anything with animal print, and I understand that. Yes, Megan does do lives. She's on Facebook at Gal vs. Glue Gun. That's where you can always find her. She's always live there. Okay. So we've added in our pumpkin, a really cute pumpkin. It's actually a really, really cute pumpkin. And now we're gonna work on our bow. And like I said, I want a big bow. I want a big, big bow. So I might have to move this over just a little bit. There we go. And I need a 4-inch ribbon. Yeah, because I don't have an orange. Okay. this rust color orange as well. Mark a tail. Measure out 9 inches. Pinch and twist. 9 inches. Pinch and twist. We're going to go up to 10 inches. So we're going to do 2 10-inch loops of this ribbon. Another 2 10-inch loops, pinch and twist. So if you're using the Easy Bow Maker, you'll start from the back to the front. I always do mine from the front to the back. Adding in our leopard print. Now we're going up to 11 inches. Pinch and twist. Okay, so those are used. My tail, pinch it. Inch, pinch and twist. So, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not feeling this 4-inch ribbon at all. So, no. Got a chance with this one. So then we're going to go up to 13 inches on this one because I really want this orange to stand out. Okay. Getting my pipe cleaner, my zip tie, running it around the middle. fixing those loops and those tails where I need them to go. Cinching that completely shut. So yeah, it's been a while since we've done a big bow, but I love how this came out. Go ahead and dovetail these. But y'all, look how pretty that bow looks. While I know that that orange isn't anything that we used in our design, it's a really nice rust contrast color. I mean, we did use the rust, but this is like a nice velvet. It's really going to stand out and pop. So sometimes that's what I'll do. I'll use majority of my ribbons on this bow are inexpensive ribbons. So their price points are way lower than that Ferris silk ribbon that I just used. But it allowed me to use that Ferris silk ribbon in the back. So now we're kind of stacking everything up and get our bow and bring back our wreath. Okay. You can secure it there for one of the ties are. I'm going kind of in between some of the ties. I'm also running that pipe cleaner through the mesh. I run that through the mesh. Run it through the mesh around the wire work wreath form. So I have something to secure it to. Okay. Starting to dovetail our ribbons, our lower ribbons. Yo, this actually looks really, really pretty in there. Yes, that orange one was a fair silk ribbon. Okay, so y'all look how pretty that bow looks. A nice full bow. Even though I used all the same colors that I used in my wreath, I was able to break it up with that really bright orange color. Okay, so next we're going to take some of our florals, and I don't want a lot in there. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that was 81132. That's the bush that I'm using. But I'm cutting them into smaller pits. Okay, so I'm able to get double the amount out of one stem. And all I'm doing is I'm just cutting that, getting my wire cutters, curving that down so they don't escape me. So someone said, forgot the bow recipe. It's 2 9-inch loops, 4 10-inch loops, 4 11-inch loops, and then 2 13-inch loops. 13-inch because I really wanted that color to stand out in the background. So that would be your, normally that's going to be your 4-inch ribbon. I used a 2.5-inch today, but I knew I wanted to make sure it stood out. So 2 9-inch loops, which is our 7/8 inch ribbon, 4 10-inch loops, which is our 1.5-inch ribbons, 4 11-inch loops, which is our 2.5-inch ribbons, and then that very back loop is 13, which could be a 4-inch ribbon or another 2.5-inch ribbon. Okay, so y'all, I cut up that bush, and look at all the little picks I have now. Perfect for this wreath, because I don't want them sticking out, and I don't want it big and thick and bushy in there. Okay, so just applying my hot glue, setting it right on top of the tie. And we're doing every other wreath tie. I am not gluing those to the mesh. I'm gluing it to the wreath tile. That's always a question I get asked. Are you gluing it to the mesh? No, I am not. I am gluing it to those wreath ties. So maybe, so I've put some hot glue on that. Maybe you guys can see. So what I'm doing is I'm maneuvering that ribbon and I'm setting it right in there, getting a wreath tie, and just twirling that around there. Okay, so that's what I do to all of my wreath stems when I add florals in, like this. Okay, coming right in between my bow. I always add some of that greenery into my bow because it really just ties it all in. And then I want to come through and add my pieces. Yo, that's always a question they always ask me, so that's how I add my florals in. Okay. So yeah, that's our wreath. We are done. We've got our nice big bow, our pumpkin. We've added in our florals. Yo, if you have a Cricut machine or a Silhouette Cameo, imagine cutting out the customer's initial, like an M, if their last name starts with an M, an L, and putting that right on there, because it is metal, so that's really great. You can offer that to them as a service, as an upcharge. Be like, well, do you want your monogram on the pumpkin? Okay, so yeah, that's really all I have. We did the Jordan 2.0 method, which is 10-inch poofs using 10-inch mesh on the inner ring, 30-inch ruffles on the outer ring. Then we came in and added 20-inch ruffles on the inner ring for that extra little, for me, I think it adds a little bit extra, not security, but it makes it nice and full, so where my sign's not wibbling and wobbling. Then we came in with our ribbon ties, measured at 13 inches, went all the way around the wreath, added our sign, made our bow, and then we came in and added our greenery. Now the bow recipe was 2 9-inch loops, 4 10-inch loops, 4 11-inch loops, and 2 13-inch loops. Okay? So y'all, that's really all I have for y'all today. So thanks for hanging